Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejados.
Because this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alicia.
I'm Nathan.
And I'm Denisha.
Welcome to this week's episode of Adventures and Mousecapades. This week, we have a guest on who we met virtually, at least, in the WhatsApp group for a cruise we haven't even taken yet. Denisha mentioned that she was taking her family on the Disney Adventure, which is Disney Cruise Line's recently launched mega ship. It's a big ship. Of course, our interests were piqued right away. And then she dropped in chat that she was taking her family of 6 to both Hong Kong and Shanghai Disney parks before the cruise. And let's just say that the trap was sprung. We are just fortunate enough that Denisha had the patience to talk to both myself and Nathan when we independently reached out to have her be on the show. And so with that, welcome, Denisha.
Thank you. Very happy to be here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to break out of the WhatsApp chat and actually kind of at least see each other from a distance here. Obviously, you know, I have a face for radio, so we throw the audio or the video away at least.
Yeah.
And but yeah, thanks for coming on. You had a tremendous trip.
Yeah, it was like the trip of a lifetime, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, before we get to that, what's kind of your Disney origin story? Like, we always ask this question, what's your Disney background? Was Disney a part of your childhood, or did it come later in life?
It's a good question. Like, people often say that I'm Disney obsessed and ask if I've traveled as a kid. But growing up, I grew up in Louisiana. We couldn't afford to go, but I remember being a kid. I'm a 90s kid. And I remember before every Disney movie that I would watch, there was this kid going down the stairs with his suitcase. They were going to Disney. And I told myself that one day that would be me. So fast forward to my husband and I being married. We went on our first Disney trip with our son when he was 5 months old. We adopted him. He was a 31-week preemie. We'd gone through all these infertility trials. And we're blessed with the opportunity to adopt him out of thin air. And so we're sitting there and we're watching the fireworks. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm at the place of my dreams. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was my dream come true. And I just watched my husband hold our son. And I was like, that is the moment I want for the rest of my life, as much as I can have it.
Yeah.
And so our life kind of changed to where I went from living in Louisiana to Texas to Southern California as a travel nurse. And I took my son pretty much on any day that I was off to Disneyland. Mm-hmm. And we ended up moving to Modesto, California. We're actually Riverbank right outside of there. And we have since had 3 IVF and they are sweet as nectar and Disney obsessed because we take them whenever we can.
Yeah.
My husband is not he is a Disney dad by demand, but not by choice. But he will do anything for these kids to smile, and he will do all the Disney bounds, and it's just become part of our regular life now, and it's been such a blessing. We feel the magic. It's been great.
So it sounds like your kids are the Disney adults in training.
They are. They should not be on drugs. They should not have bad habits because they're going to spend their money there.
Well, tell us a little bit about your travel party. Who all was on this trip?
Okay. So myself, like I said, I like to call myself like the magic maker. I try to plan trips that are seamless. I try to make all the outfits organized. And my husband he's calm to my chaos. And he will grumble about the number of suitcases that I have, but he will push them and he will make sure we get everywhere in time. Our son is 12, almost 13, and he has maybe 5 minutes of his attention to spare for us on a daily basis. But he's great. He will still participate in my shenanigans for his little sisters, and so they can get all the treats and merchandise he wants.
Of course.
I have a new 7-year-old. She turned 7 while we were in Shanghai. My son's name is Caden. Her name is Keegan. She's 7, and I tell everyone she has main character energy. She is our singer and dancer. Never met a stranger. I have a 4-year-old who will be 5 in a few weeks. And she's the one that we say will not let us go to a home. She is sweet as can be. And she definitely is on the baby side still. She still believes that Mickey really is waiting on her next visit. And I feel that is so magical. And I make sure not to disappoint her.
Yeah.
And then we have this little tiny 2.5-year-old who... she doesn't talk very much, but you know exactly what she wants. And she's obsessed with Mickey, Minnie, and Ariel.
Nice.
And her name's Cohen. So we have 4 kids: Caden, our boy, Keegan, Kerrigan, and Cohen. So that's our group.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Had your kids done much international travel before this, or was this a whole new level for them?
Well, I mean, this is definitely the farthest we've traveled.
It's hard to go farther.
Right? I'm like, this is the farthest. I think, like, when we first were before we decided to add on the China parks, there's actually a direct flight from San Francisco airport to Singapore. So it's 18 hours. So we entertained that flight first. But prior to this, we've gone on a couple of cruises, one being the Disney Treasure, which was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
We've done travels to Mexico and to Costa Rica.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they're not unfamiliar with, being out of the country and doing a few things, but yeah, the day and a half of travel each direction is
absolutely.
It's different. It's different.
Yeah. They did a lot better than I think I could have ever prepared for. To fly domestically and then to fly internationally is totally different in like the level of customer service, the comfort level, figuring out your timing of when you're going to rest. Like, we set the bar very low. We brought all the snacks. We brought Play-Doh. We brought coloring books. We brought all the electronics because I didn't know what it was going to take. I brought some melatonin just in case we needed it because I just wanted to make sure that we would make it through this trip without making it miserable for another person on the flights. But yeah, they did a really good job. Awesome. I feel like they rested well. They kept themselves entertained, and they really weren't on the screens very much. They just did it, like a thing at a time, maybe an hour or so, take a little nap, eat a little bit, and just kind of continued. Our 2-year-old, I think, was the one I was most concerned about.
Yeah.
And she slept like she would usually sleep. Going out there, it was really fine. And when we got there, I didn't really notice that we had a lot of jet lag.
Okay.
Coming back was challenging because, we woke up and it was like, 2 a.m. and they were like ready to jump on the trampoline. And, we were wide awake, and it took a few days to, get our bearings, but worth it,
Yeah. So that actually was going to be one of my questions, was like how it sounds like the time change, at least when you were out in Asia, wasn't really a big factor. It was just coming back.
It was coming back, and others had prepared us for that. I took like 2 days off work, and I wish I had taken more just because I worked long shifts, and I was very productive at work. But when I would get home, I just found that, I would sleep for very short periods of time. And then at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, okay, I have to get up. And that's not the case. Yeah.
This is a big trip. 2 international Disney parks and a brand new cruise ship. What sparked the idea for this?
Well, after we got off the Treasure, we booked our placeholder, and I'm like, where do we want to go? And actually, we didn't even use our placeholder on this cruise because what was so attractive for us was the price was so much more affordable.
Yep.
Yeah.
And, we were just saying, well, I've always wanted to go to Singapore. I want to go everywhere. Like, that's just kind of me. But, I have a few friends who are from, Thailand, from Singapore. And, I'd heard about their travel. So it was very appealing for me to do Disney somewhere so far away. So I was, like I told you before, looking at flights, and prepared to just fly just to Singapore and back and just spend a few days either before or after our trip just exploring Singapore.
Yeah.
And as I joined the Facebook group for the cruise and started talking to others, they were saying how they were going to add on Shanghai. And I was like, oh, I don't have a map. I don't have a mental map.
Right.
So I guess I'm like, is that even, I know it's close, but how close is it? Like, what do flights look like? So I looked, and to go from Shanghai to Singapore, it's maybe like a 3 to 4 hour flight. And then I heard some people were saying how they liked Shanghai Park, but Hong Kong was so different.
Yeah.
And that Shanghai to Hong Kong is only like a 2 hour flight. So I'm like, well, shoot, let's just do both of them. So,
I like your style.
Yep.
you know, I'm like, when am I going to be over there again? Like, I'm like, you know, so then I started looking at, I'm like, how expensive are flights going to be? Like, how is that going to work? You know, it's 6 of us. And so then I started looking at flights from our airport. We chose San Francisco to Singapore versus how much would it be to go from San Francisco to Shanghai or San Francisco to Hong Kong, and then doing like some kind of Asian domestic flights from there. So what I did was, because it's expensive, you know, what we did was I elected to do my international flights first. So I booked a flight from San Francisco to Shanghai.
Okay.
And then I booked a flight from Singapore to San Francisco. And then I kind of had to wait a little bit, work a little bit, paid off our cruise. And then, you know, I just kind of price tracked the domestic flights. And those to go from Shanghai to Hong Kong and then Hong Kong to Singapore, those flights were maybe $100 to $150 per person.
Okay.
Which is not, you know, it's not cheap. But when you have time to break it up, it makes it a lot, you know, easier than doing them all at one time.
A
Yeah.
lot more palatable. Yeah.
And it was nice because like something that we experienced is that our baggage is included. So we didn't have a baggage fee.
Okay.
We didn't have to pay to sit with our children because each one of those airlines, those are standards. You don't have to pay for meals. You don't pay for sodas. You don't pay for checked bags. We brought a checked bag, a carry-on, and a backpack for every person. And then we had extra stuff because we brought snacks, and quickly learned that we didn't need to pack that many snacks because they fed us so often. And it was stuff that my kids would eat. They had kid meals. They had, you know, vegetarian meals. They had all kinds of things. So
it's like flying used to be.
you know, I never experienced that, but it was, we very much felt spoiled, and we didn't pay for, you know, business or first class. We just paid for coach, and we're very comfortable.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You did a lot of this planning and the logistics yourself then. What, did you think about leveraging like a travel advisor to help out, or were you just going to figure out all these logistics and go for it?
You know, it's a really good question. I do have a travel agent who has been amazing in introducing us to Disney cruising and has planned our Disney World trip for us before. She helped us plan our trip to Playa del Carmen. But I'm a very type A, but also type B person. I say I'm an A.B. What my thing is, I like to plan everything, and then I just would turn it over to her. Like, look, this is what I want to do. And she's like, oh, okay. And so I've been doing that for like almost 2 years now with her. And I was happy to do it. But I actually recently thought, like, maybe I should do this for myself. Like, maybe I, you know, could do this for someone else, because I have colleagues and friends who have told me, oh, I want to pick your brain when it's time for me to travel. And I'm always happy to share that. But, you know, if I can earn a commission to do that, to fund my next trip, because that's where it's going to be, then, you know, sure. So I am just starting that as of like just a couple of weeks ago. I actually just recently was approached and decided to, you know, try it out. Haven't done the training because, like I said, I'm always working, but it is something that I want to share with others, because travel can be affordable. It can be what you make it to be.
Yeah.
And there were things that we did to cut cost, so that we could have more quality to our trip.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I would love to share that with someone else. So that's kind of what, I did it all myself.
I love that. My
husband does not know where we're going. He just pushes the bags. He is like so aloof, except getting us through the airport. He's very much, you know, in his zone then. But otherwise, where are we going again? Yeah. What do I need to do?
Did you find it complicated logistics with the travel to and within China?
No, actually, I liked it. So a little bit about when we went to China. So we went first to Shanghai, right?
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I looked at the prices to stay on resort and considered it because I feel like it's a lot more affordable for tickets and for the stay
Yeah.
on resort there versus in the U.S. based parks.
Mhm.
And thought about it for a little while, but I'm like, we're going to be at the parks for 2 days each. And on the other day, I really want to just pack in as much, local sightseeing that we can.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at other hotel options, I decided to stay close to the airport
Okay.
at both locations
Got it.
because for Hong Kong, it's so easy to use the metro system.
Mhm.
Mm.
And I imagine it wouldn't be difficult in Shanghai, but we decided to use rideshare. They
Okay.
have what's called Didi there.
Okay.
And we were maybe like a 15-minute drive from the parks. And I feel like the rideshare was very safe.
Yeah.
The way that you pay for things is through it's like a system called Alipay.
Yeah.
They have a few different types of systems. So like once you figured that out, like, am I losing my money? Like, how, is my card secure? But pretty much like in Shanghai, we pretty much did what's called Alipay.
Okay.
And you load your card information into that. And from that app, you can like preload money or it can go straight from your card. You can hail a Didi ride and they're very easy to identify and they communicate very well. So I felt very safe.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
There were a few times that we had to have 2 Didis because, most people don't have a family of 6 in Asia,
Yeah.
I learned. Like, we're a
Right.
big family there. And so with our, 7 suitcases and carry-ons, we did sometimes have to, like when we were going to and from the airport, we did have to use 2 Didis, which was not
Sure.
a big deal.
Yeah.
When we were in Hong Kong, it was really easy because we stayed at a hotel that was really easy. Like they shuttled us from the airport to the hotel, and then they would shuttle you like every hour to the closest metro station.
Yeah.
And you could use something there were a few ways that you could pay for your travels, but one was called Octopus, and it was super easy. You just add this to your Apple Wallet, and you can add whatever amount to it. And you just tap your phone and it opens the turnstile and you walk on. And then there's like one location. It's called the Tung Chung line and it says the Disney line. And all you have to do is go to the Disney line and then it will take you straight there. It takes a few minutes. And then from there, you see this plush, beautiful Mickey windowed metro rail. And it takes you right to the park in Hong Kong. And it's beautiful. And it's just decorated with all things Mickey and like these bronze characters and velvet seats. Definitely feels like you're, in for, a nice adventure. So,
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm going to talk Shanghai for a little bit here.
okay, sure.
Shanghai Disneyland is often described as massive, honestly.
Yes.
Did it feel that way in practice?
It felt different. The way there were it felt like a circle, but there were all these little like tentacles of ways that you could go. But their map was very easy to use. Like you could just say where you want to go. Like if you want to go to Tron, you could just type in Tron or the area that it's in, and you can just start your route, and you can just see yourself tracking along, and you get there. And if you're going the wrong way, then you figure out that you need to turn around. It's very big. And I think because it doesn't flow like Disney World, like Magic Kingdom or flow like Disneyland. I'm very familiar with how, Disneyland and California Adventures is. Like it's just different.
Yeah.
It is massive. The castle is massive and it is gorgeous. Like the most beautiful castle that I've seen. I haven't gone to Tokyo or Paris yet, but I've heard that it's the biggest. And when you go inside, like there's Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique and lots of mosaics inside. It's just absolutely gorgeous.
What was the biggest wow moment that you experienced in Shanghai?
Wow. I think what blew us away was probably Zootopia World. Oh my gosh. It was like we were there. We were in the movie. And there's like a spot where like there's a giraffe on the treadmill and he's like larger than life on a treadmill. And we went for the popsicles at Jumbo's Treats.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
just so many, just the theming was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially in that world.
I'm imagining it's kind of like Cars Land is from an immersion. And like you are in this movie, but
you
Zootopia.
are in it. Yes.
That's
the
cool.
ride itself was awesome. But just to walk around the world, like I have Carrie, my 4-year-old, she's obsessed with Judy Hopps. And she got to take a picture right in front of the Zootopia Police Department.
Oh,
That's awesome.
fantastic.
It was so cool. I think that it is the main attraction for people going there. Like when you see the merchandise, like all the gear that everyone's wearing, it's Zootopia. I don't know if I showed you guys a picture, but like I said, I love to do Disney bounding.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it's the biggest thing there where people like down, like even like going, comparing like Orlando to California. I think we're a lot heavier on the Disney bounding in California, at least to me.
Yeah.
You know, coordinating shirts, sure, I will say Orlando, but I feel like, you know, really going out, we do that at Disneyland.
Yeah.
And so for the girls, I dressed one as Judy. I dressed one as Nick Wilde. She's my 2-year-old. She had the little tie in the ears. And my 7-year-old, whose birthday it was, Keegan, I dressed her as Gazelle. And it was the most over the top bougie outfit. And the other, you know, visitors at the park went nuts. Like they wanted to take pictures with our girls. They wanted to take pictures of them. They wanted to take them with them. And they felt like they were celebrities. And I think it was eye-opening to us that we were foreigners and we were different.
Yeah.
But everyone was so welcoming and just so sweet. Awesome. But yeah, it was, I think Zootopia just really won us over at that park. And yes, it is massive. I say you need 2 full days to maybe even 3. We did 2 to really get through the park and see a lot of it. They do offer like they offer like the premier access. We didn't elect to do like the, you know, like the tour or, you know, the more expensive option where you can ride everything. But we did do some kind of like fast passes. I think they call those premier access too. The wording is a little different than how we word it here in the US.
Sure.
But I didn't find that we really needed it except for maybe 2 rides. I feel like they were affordable. And honestly, we could have waited, but we were on a shortened time schedule. We used it for Tron and we used it for the Zootopia ride. I feel like you do need it for the Zootopia Hot Pursuit ride. So much fun. Everything else was walk on.
Did y'all do Pirates?
Amazing. Totally different Pirates.
I want to do that one so much, but I don't know if we're ever going to go.
I don't know who told me, but they told me that the Pirates of the Caribbean ride there is different.
Yeah.
And my son, he's not a rider. He doesn't like drops. My 4-year-old is iffy, but I was like, please, everyone do this with me.
Right.
And we rode it twice. And it was so cool. Yes, it was so much fun.
Yeah, someday.
Seriously awesome.
We have some blockers right now, but someday.
Tron, I feel like, was very similar, if not identical, to the one in Orlando. It was amazing.
I think that one is like a straight copy and paste. Yeah,
I think it's exact. Like we were like, I'm like, is it different? Like, no. And my son,
I don't think so.
I didn't think so. My son, he even braved himself to do that. He would not do it for us last year, and he absolutely loved it.
That's awesome.
They have rides there that we don't have here. Like they have like an Iron Man ride and I think Ant-Man and the Wasp. My son loved those.
I think the Iron Man one is basically, is that one that's Star Tours?
I believe so.
Star Tours. You mean Space Mountain?
No, the Iron Man one, I remember hearing it's basically like this, but rethemed to Iron Man instead of like something else. And I don't remember what it was. It wasn't Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. I know that.
Okay.
No, that's another favorite of my son. Yeah. So, there is Space Mountain, but it was closed during the time we were there. They closed it for refurbishments.
Yep.
There was like, you know, the carousel, not as majestic as the ones that are here, but still really nice. There's Dumbo, you know, a lot of ones that you would think of. There's teacups, so pretty. but just wandering around trying to get to everything was different because you're used to like things being, there's still like fantasy land, but it's just different,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have enough problems. We go to Florida and California
We get them mixed up
frequently
all the
enough,
time.
and we're like,
Yeah.
wait, it's where in this park? I don't
Exactly.
remember.
Exactly. Like I don't need a map when I go to California. I'm good.
Yeah.
Like you put me in Orlando. I'm a bit lost. Magic Kingdom, forget about it. But I can get around Animal Kingdom well.
Yeah.
Epcot, maybe. But maps are definitely our friends.
Speaking of kind of getting around, how was language? Did you have any language barriers, or does everybody kind of like operate as English as a second language?
So I will say that Shanghai, it was a bit challenging. Maybe if we had stayed at like a more well-known hotel, it was a wonderful hotel that we were at. But maybe if we had stayed like at your typical Marriott or somewhere like that, there would have been more English speakers.
Okay.
However, they were always happy to wait for you to use translation, or they would pull theirs up.
Got it.
I would say that once we got to the park, the majority of cast members spoke English.
Okay.
If they couldn't, there was someone always very close that could. I felt well received, even though I didn't understand the language. We learned hello, goodbye, and thank you.
Yeah.
And that was plenty for them. You could tell it went well. It went a long way for them.
Yeah.
The rides, if there were instructions on the rides, there was English translation.
Okay.
But if the ride had a lot of talking, it was in their language.
In Mandarin.
Yes. It's so like the Hot Pursuit ride. It was interesting to hear, the characters speaking in Chinese. My kids did not care. They loved it. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
It was great. But Hong Kong, everything was was in English.
Yeah.
Yeah. The hotels, everyone spoke English there.
We can thank the British for that.
Yeah.
So
Yes. Yeah. And Singapore, their country language is English. So because they're such a melting pot country.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Hong Kong, what did you think of Hong Kong Disneyland? Like, what was your first impression as you got there and walked in?
When I got to Hong Kong, like once we got over the initial wow factor of the metro rail and getting in, as you're walking down Main Street, you feel like you're at home. Like you see the same layout just about.
Yeah.
And it felt very similar to what we're used to. It was very nostalgic. A lot of the rides are the same.
Yeah.
Their small world, I thought, was amazing because it was interesting to see all the different countries
Mm-hmm.
from a perspective that wasn't the US perspective.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Like to see, and I feel like there was a lot more contained within each group.
Yeah.
It was like you go through Asia and you see a lot of focus on smaller countries that you may not, readily think about as an American. And then you get to the spot where it says the Americas.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's right. That's how they see us.
Yeah.
And so we're mixed in with a lot of people from Peru and Mexico and, Southern in South America.
Yeah.
And you're mixed with, then you get to see, like their take on the most important things here. I'm like, oh, girls, look, there's the Golden Gate Bridge. There's the Statue of Liberty. Like, things that are, iconic for the US. So I thought that was really interesting to see. And I love that we went on Small World probably like 3 or 4 times over the 2 days we were there. It was so cool.
So that's interesting. I hadn't even thought about it. So like even the countries and the things that are being depicted are different. I'm imagining it's same style, same tune going on on, but different scenes, different countries, and different focus for all that. That's
absolutely
awesome.
Lots of focus on the smaller countries of Asia. Like here, you may see like one snippet of India, and here you may see India, Myanmar, Thailand, China. Like it's really cool.
That's awesome.
That's very cool. All right, that makes me. That's my bucket list. I want to do Small World everywhere,
and it's beautiful and it lights up so pretty. And right when you walk past Small World, you'll love this because you guys go to Disney World. Right after that, there's Frozen World, and it's gorgeous.
Oh,
and
cool.
The Frozen Ever After ride is not 2 and 3 hours. It was 10 minutes.
Wow.
The ride times were staggeringly just different. Like
Mm.
you didn't have to wait very long. And I learned that it's not because the parks were, we asked like some of the locals, like, is this your holiday week? Did we come in a week? Because I've heard that the parks can get very busy.
Yep.
But we didn't feel bombarded. Like, when it was time for fireworks, sure. It was a little more crowded in Shanghai because it's bigger.
Yep.
But I felt like for the volume of people at these parks, that the ride times were very short for most of the rides.
Yeah.
And I feel it's because I don't mean to generalize about the Asian culture, but something that we learned or that we observed throughout our experience is that they are very much photo focused, character focused. They want their character interactions. They want the meet and greets.
Yeah.
There were lines. We didn't take a lot of pictures with characters. I'm like, we have Mickey at home.
Sure.
We did take a picture with Mickey because we lucked up and we got in, and like his wait time was an hour, which is kind of on the upper limit for us,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have different characters there. We were introduced to Duffy and friends.
Oh,
and,
all Duffy's friends.
oh my gosh,
Yes.
we are obsessed.
And they are obsessed in the international parks with
They are obsessed.
anything and everything Duffy. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. And all their characters. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the characters, Lena Bell,
Mhm.
her meet and greet time was 360 minutes.
Oh my
all day.
goodness.
I'm like,
Mhm.
Wow.
I'm so grateful my kids can't read. My girls can't read because they love Lena Bell. And I cannot imagine sitting.
Well, several of those friends are at Aulani, and it's not
Yes,
a
that's what I
12-hour
heard.
flight. So,
Yes.
Not
And
all of them.
we love Hawaii, so we'll have to go someday.
Yeah.
But but we just noticed like around the parks, like a lot of Asian visitors were taking these really cool creative pictures in front of the castles with their food. And I picked up a few different pictures, but some of them did that like most of their day.
Oh, wow.
huh.
And so I think that just, I'm like, well, this is great for us because we can just get on these rides. Yeah. So definitely a difference
Yeah.
that I noticed right off.
Yeah.
What was the crowd behavior like at the parks over there?
Honestly, I was prepared by other people to be surprised by people being rude. That people would just kind of cut in line, or that they may not be, as polite as what I would expect. And me being Southern, I try to be real polite.
Mhm.
But I didn't find that to be the case.
Yeah.
Definitely not in the parks. I will say, a few times, like when we were traveling, like, some people would just kind of rush ahead, but we're a big group. So I don't have a problem
Yeah.
slowing down because I want to make sure I don't lose a kid. So I didn't find it to be problematic. There were a few times where, like, needing a little help, like getting through the airport, there was a gentleman who pretty much saw me in line, and he just kind of went ahead and tried to get the agent's assistance before me. And there was a gentleman who said, no, she was in line first. So I feel like, there's going to be that behavior anywhere, but it didn't spoil my trip. And it was more so that I noticed that in Shanghai than I did in Hong Kong.
Yeah. I mean, we noticed that here domestically. So
Of course.
those folks are everywhere.
Not out of the norm. So.
Right.
What were the must-do experiences for your family in Hong Kong?
Well, unfortunately, we really wanted to go and see the Buddha in the mist. There's like an ancient fishing village and monastery. It's like you take a cable car to go up there.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, everyone but I caught a stomach bug.
Oh.
So I was the nurse for everyone for about a 24 to 48 hour period. So we didn't get to do that.
Yeah.
But we did get to go to Disneyland Hong Kong 2 days before that set in. I think kind of just exploring their shops is really cool because you can just pretty much, the way that the levels are, like you can be on the rail system and it goes right into a mall. So you may have like 4 or 5 stories of a mall that you can shop through and, buy a lot of, local and, international things, if you want to try different foods, and you can get right back on the metro rail. Like you don't need rideshare. You don't really need anything other than to be able to get on the metro system there.
Yeah.
And I think it was cool too, just kind of going back to payments, that Octopus and Alipay. I thought it was cool because you could purchase other things, like you could buy stuff from food, or like if I wanted Shake Shack, I could use that. So I wasn't like pulling out my card and using this app. Like I did everything. And I believe that it cut down on our international fees a bit. I noticed when I used my card that we had quite a bit more separate transactions for international fees. So I think it was a little bit more when we did that.
Yeah. Well, our son will be thrilled to hear you can get Shake Shack over in Asia. So
oh yeah, you can.
That'll go a long way. Kind of, we haven't really talked too much about it, but just quickly, what were your thoughts on food there in Shanghai and Hong Kong?
Oh goodness, it was so good. In Shanghai, I feel like everything was so well seasoned. Like I thought, you know how you think, oh well, this can't be how food is in China because you're in America. You think it's like been Americanized, but it was so well seasoned. Like we went in Shanghai. You asked about what not to miss in Hong Kong, but in Shanghai, do not miss going to Nanjing Road. Okay. It's like a pedestrian shopping. It's a pedestrian road. And then there's a really big shopping center. They have a lot of upscale shopping and then like local stuff. Like we took our kids to the Hello Kitty store. It was massive there. A lot of stuff. And then we got approached by someone to go to like this other store, like this underground spot. And we got some nice stuff. I still don't know if it's knockoff or not, but it was cheap and it looks real good. And so it was an experience and I didn't feel unsafe.
Yeah.
And I feel like the lady who took us over there like loved our kids. We took a picture with her and I feel like she's our China auntie now. Like she's awesome.
That's awesome.
But so like if you're on Nanjing Road, you can like do all the shopping. Like they have this massive Apple store, like all these different well-known brands, some that you won't know about. They have like stories and stories of anime merchandise and my son really loved that. But from Nanjing Road, it's maybe like a 20-minute walk or less to the Bund. Okay. And it's so pretty and scenic, but it's like you could take a ferry there. And I kind of equivalent the Bund to like Times Square in New York. It's beautiful. You see all the jumbotrons and stuff like that. It was really cool to see. And from there, we walked and we got some local food. Like we saw like Papa John's and well-known things. But we saw this noodle shop. And we decided to go in there. And it was like an upscale Chinese restaurant, but Panda Express price, if you can imagine. Like it was delicious. And again, they did not understand English, but their menu was in English and Chinese. And there was someone that could help us if we had questions.
Yeah.
It was delicious. And then we just got I feel like we budgeted a lot more for food than what we spent. Things were very affordable. Like near our hotel, we spent like maybe like the US equivalent of maybe $3 for this huge plate of stir fry that we all ate from. It was delicious. So when we would get back late from the parks, we would just go there. They were open like till 2 a.m. It was delicious.
Were there any challenges or things that you wish you had known ahead of time?
I think I went into it with an open mind. I tried to just research as best I could. I think the one thing I wish I had known is that China and Asian countries, they really don't play around with medications, substances. I have ADD. My son takes medication for it. So those are considered illegal substances there. Oh. And so you can't take your Adderall there, because it'll be confiscated, or you could be potentially, confined. So we didn't learn about that until a few days before. And so they recommended, looking at non-stimulant options. We couldn't get that changed. I wouldn't have switched my son anyway. So he kind of had to go without, which wasn't the worst thing because you can take breaks from those medications. Yeah. I myself was a little nervous about how I was going to navigate with 4 kids and being an overstimulated mama without my Adderall. And honestly, I took my work bag and didn't realize I had not taken my medication out.
Oh.
And It didn't trigger any alarms, but I didn't find out until I was in Hong Kong. So I was like, oh my goodness, thank you that I was not caught. And then I was like, okay, thank you. I'm going to take this and I will make sure that I don't return with any medicine. I only had a few tablets, so it was fine. But it was definitely something that I wish I had known about before. The other thing that you should learn about is, when you're going to any country, is about visa requirements.
Yeah.
I was a little stressed out because Singapore you don't have to have a visa unless you're going to be there for like 90 days. So we're good. But with China, you can go visa free if you're going for 10 days or less. And as long as you have proof of onward travel. So if you have a flight coming up to get you out of China or to your next leg, or if you have a bullet train or a cruise, those all count as onward travel.
Got it.
So they call it the 240-hour rule. And so it did take a little bit more time to process that because we were going visa free when we left San Francisco. But we just arrived, in enough time. I would say instead of like that 3-hour international travel window, maybe go 3.5, 4 hours.
Yeah.
And then when we got to Shanghai, it just took a little bit longer for customs to process us through.
Mm-hmm.
I think that each exchange through immigration was a little, it wasn't long, but it just was another layer.
Right.
I feel like they handled it a lot better than what we do in the U.S. I feel like we didn't have to take your shoes off and take the baby out the stroller. They were very accommodating and patient. And we didn't have to, you have to empty your liquids, but we didn't have to take out our electronics at every stop.
Yeah.
But there are a few different checkpoints that you go through. So just be mindful of time.
Yep.
But we didn't have any issues.
Cool. All right. We've got to get to the real reason that
long-winded.
No. Like we said, tangents are always welcome. But we need to talk about the whole reason you thought of doing this trip in the first place, which was hitting the brand new Disney adventure. So
absolutely,
what put that on your radar? Like, what was the driving factor of like, no, we got to go do this ship?
I think because I had just done our first Disney cruise, I'm like, I'm sold. Like before I even got on the Disney Treasure, I had booked the Destiny. I'm going on the Destiny in June. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
But so then, like I said, we had gotten this placeholder. So I started thinking about it. I'm like, oh, well, I don't want to waste my placeholder on this.
Yeah.
Let me just see, how much it would be for us to go on the adventure, and was staggered by how much less it costs because it doesn't port anywhere. And because the US dollar is so much more powerful in Asia than it is here.
Yep.
And like I said, I was very interested to someday visit Singapore. So those were the things that made me really excited to go.
Yeah.
We flew into Singapore on the 31st.
Okay.
On the 1st was like kind of our day that we wanted to just kind of regroup, do some sightseeing. And then the 2nd was the day that we began our cruise.
Got it.
I've heard people say that they are going to wait until they fly in or the day before. And I couldn't deal with that just because of concerns of, travel delays or cancellations.
Sure. Yeah.
So I felt really good about going in on the 31st. On the 1st, my husband was not feeling well. So we just kind of camped out in the room, which was actually a good thing.
Yeah.
Kind of reorganized our bags for what we were going to wear on the cruise, kind of washed a few things that needed to be washed. And we cruised from the 2nd to the 6th. And then we had 3 full days in Singapore.
Oh, wonderful.
After.
Nice.
And I feel like 3 to 4 days is enough to see a lot of Singapore.
Yeah.
Quite a few other travelers spent about that amount of time. You can see a lot during that.
All right. The cruise ship. So you had been on one Disney cruise before on the Treasure.
Yes.
Had you been on other cruise ships before, or was this just second cruise overall?
My husband had never cruised. So before our Treasure cruise, we did a Royal Caribbean.
Okay.
To make sure his stomach could take it. He's a little squeamish. And before that, my son and I had gone on Carnival years ago.
Okay.
So so the Treasure was our 3rd cruise, our daughter's 1st cruise.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're still pretty novice in the cruise world. We're definitely pride ourselves in being more resort people.
Sure.
But yeah, we definitely have enjoyed cruising.
Well, and this ship is kind of in theory, geared towards resort people, or at least it's geared towards representing all of what Disney is in a cruise ship kind of experience, versus with Disney Cruise Line, they can focus more on being just a cruise line and not trying to represent everything that is under the Disney umbrella.
Yeah.
I think your perspective is going to be really interesting. What did you think, first impressions about getting on the ship? You know, so many of us and folks that we have seen online who have been on like every Disney ship and they've done 20 cruises or something, and then they're getting on the adventure, and a lot of it is compare and contrast against expectations based on all of the other Disney cruises that they have been on. You didn't necessarily have all of that. I'm going to call it baggage.
Yes, and I think that really benefited me. And so as most people know who followed this ship, it was initially supposed to begin its maiden voyage in late 2025.
Yeah.
It was pushed back because it was not really done, whether that be to Disney specs or I don't know what, we don't know. So it made a lot of people anxious about our sailing because they wouldn't have that buffer of, going through the teething issues, the crew getting all that their cohesiveness together.
Because you're about, what, 2 weeks in?
I think we were maybe the fourth, maybe fifth sailing.
Okay,
because there were a couple of 4 days and a couple of 3, couple of 4 nights, couple of 3 nights.
So it's still very early days.
Very early. Yeah. I started seeing a lot of posts from influencers, from people who had gone on their maiden voyage and a few after. And honestly, for lack of better words, a lot of people were nitpicking and bashing this ship.
Yeah.
And I wasn't seeing a lot of good things. And, I was like, you know what? I am going to go in here with an open mind. It may not be how the treasure was. It may not be, the parks. It may not be the same Disney experience I'm used to, but it's an experience all the same. And maybe I can teach my kids, to accept differences, cultural differences within people, different food options, different, I had some people who were so complaining so much about the Mickey bars being different. I tell you what, the Mickey bar we had was just fine. It was different, but I think I liked it more. So I think going into it with an open mind that it's going to be different. The layout, people complained about the layout and, just the heat. It's hot, They complained about the iron cycle not being up and running. I'm like, you know what? We have coasters at home. If I don't get it, it's not going to, I just told myself nothing is going to ruin this trip for me because it's such an adventure overall. And I think that if you were going just for this one experience and you were expecting that Disney experience that you were used to, then maybe you would be disappointed. But I think that we had an amazing time. I found that the crew, a lot of them were new, but they were so welcoming. They were happy to be there. They wanted to help you have the best experience. Yeah. You'll hear so many people talk about the negative aspects, but just the positive blew me away. And I personally didn't have a negative experience other than I had a different experience. So it's different from ships here where you get notifications of you get a kind of a schedule of which character is where, it's on 8 aft to see Donald. Here it's different where it started out where there were very limited character interactions because they have to control. They have to keep crowd control. It's so busy.
Yeah. And
like I said before, I believe as a culture, the Asians really enjoy their interactions. Again, it was an accident. They apologized, but someone kind of pushed past me to get to Donald doing the conga line. Yeah. And they came back and apologized, but they're just so excited. And, seeing how the interactions are here in the parks and hearing how they are in Tokyo, I get it. This is their chance.
Yeah.
And so instead of having those interactions listed as where you can go and just line up, you have to book a time to go and meet these characters.
Okay.
There were some characters roaming around the ship. I think in the first few sailings, that wasn't the case so much.
Mm.
They have something called selfies at sea, which a lot of people felt they didn't like. And pretty much it's like a character goes on the stage.
Yep.
And you can like see them doing their, performance. They're interacting with the crowd. And you can just take a selfie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They had dance parties. They had characters going into the nursery and the Oceaneers. My kids were telling me that Cinderella read to them. They were seeing these characters.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think if you are the typical Disney cruiser and that is your thing and you want that interaction, like I love my interactions. I was a little bummed, especially because I didn't get in quickly enough to book interactions.
Yeah.
It was a big frustration for a lot of people was how much you had to use your phone.
Yeah.
And how much you had to like book and refresh. And if you think about 6,300 people on this app trying to do the same thing at the exact same time, it's going to fail. It's going to lag.
Yeah.
And during the time that they pretty much dropped these meet and greets for the whole cruise on night one after the muster station drill was done.
Got it.
And at the same time, we were decorating our door and my 2-year-old's finger got slammed in the door.
Oh.
So we had to rush to the medical center to make sure it was not broken.
Right.
It was not. They were amazing and took care of us. And I forgot all about the characters.
Yeah.
I did ask guest services, is there any availability later? They said they didn't think that they would be able to accommodate, apologized. And I'm like, I understand that.
Yeah.
But we saw every character that we would have wanted to see in random interactions. Like we got to do the Let's Sail and my kids were doing conga with Daisy and Donald. We got off the elevator and Mickey was there and took me and my daughter walked down the walkway and we took a quick picture, we got to see Baymax and we just snapped a picture in passing. I feel that maybe for an adult who wants that picture perfect moment, that you would be maybe disappointed. But for my kids, the people I brought for this experience, they were delighted.
Yeah.
They were delighted to walk out of Bibbidi Boppity Boutique and Jasmine be sitting there to take pictures with them.
That's awesome.
We did get Royal Gathering, but they loved just being surprised.
Yeah. Those kind of ad hoc, spur of the moment, random interactions on a Disney cruise ship, whether you've got 2,500 people on board or 6,300 people on board, that is where the magic is.
Exactly.
And it's fantastic. And I'm so glad that you didn't let the lack of having those things getting scheduled, A, just ruin everything for you, and B, you were able to just then take advantage of the magic and the pixie dust that happens.
Yep.
And that's fantastic.
Kind of going back briefly to the Iron Cycle, I just put my expectation low that we wouldn't get it or all of us wouldn't get it. Like I said, my son doesn't ride. My husband said he didn't care. My 7-year-old is our rider. And we were part of a WhatsApp group and pretty much people were kind enough to say, hey, look, Iron Cycle's up, book now. Like they would open slots for the Iron Cycle like every day.
Yeah.
For a few hours of the day. And if people were frustrated because it wasn't open all day. It's hot out there.
Yeah.
And imagine running that and people outside all day. I get why it was limited. They did it in kind of like the early evening hours. And someone booked it and I was like, I don't want to do this. It's like almost the end of my trip.
Yeah.
I'm going to just look, but I know it's going to be gone. And I got it. And I got 2 slots and my daughter and I waited maybe 30 or 40 minutes to get on. And it was absolutely amazing. But had I not done it, I would say I still had an absolutely amazing time.
Yeah.
And I would want to go back, So yeah, it was great.
What was the most surprising area of the ship?
There's so much going on that ship.
It's a big ship.
It's so big and there's so many things going on. And, people wonder like if you're going to have enough to entertain. We didn't do all those things. We had a great time.
Sorry, were you on a 3-night or a 4-night? I think
we did the 4-night.
4-night, okay.
Yeah. So I think the most amazing thing on the ship was the performances. The shows were gorgeous. The Remember show brought tears to my eyes. It was so cool to see those performances. You could tell how much work they put into the Moana show. Was in Wayfinder Bay. We didn't see the entire show, but we could view part of it from breakfast one day.
Okay.
And it was really cool. I think that the performances were our favorites.
Yeah. We've heard the entertainment is top notch.
Yeah.
I mean,
Top
the entertainment
notch.
on DCL is top notch anyway, but
Yeah.
the adventure sounds like it's absolutely just stunning and incredible.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of staterooms did you guys have?
We decided not to splurge because we've been splurging in so many other ways. We elected to do connecting interior staterooms.
Okay.
We booked very early. Like we booked back in, I think, July or August.
Mm-hmm.
And initially thought we would do like ocean view or veranda. But we did the interior connecting, and it was really nice. I felt like we had plenty of space underneath the beds.
Yeah.
Their closets don't have doors on them, which I know some people don't like, but it worked well for us.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because we were able to just, we just brought hampers and like put clothes for each person in. There are a few drawers. We had a folding stroller for our daughter. And I liked that they had the toilet and shower separate.
Mm-hmm.
There's a refrigerator and there's a hot tea kettle, and they restock your coffees and teas every day.
Nice.
It's really nice.
What about the food on the ship? You've got, I think 6 restaurants that are basically 3 pairs, and you hit one kind of side of that.
Yeah.
In terms of the rotational dining, how was the food in your scenario, in your case?
Yeah, I loved it. We rotated between Hollywood and Animator's Palette. We did Animator's Palette twice. That was our favorite.
Okay.
And Enchanted Garden, which is or Enchanted Summer. Apologize, I can't remember. But it is where it's like kind of frozen themed. It was beautiful.
Yes, summer. Yeah, Enchanted Garden is on the Dream
Fantasy, one of
This
those.
is one of those. Anyhow,
Yeah.
they
So I
reuse the
apologize.
names.
I'm not always correct on the wording, but
It's okay. We aren't either, so don't worry about it.
I feel like they were all beautiful. Animator's Palette was our favorite because on one of those nights, the kids got to draw on their coloring book. They drew a character,
Mhm.
and then they put it up on the screen, and their characters are part of a display of all the other cruisers that are dining in there that night.
The animation magic. That is so fun. Yeah.
And then they make it like into a certificate for the
Yes.
kids. So it was a nice keepsake for them.
Yeah.
It was fun. And then Hollywood was really cool because, let's see, Donald, Daisy, Mickey, and Minnie came and performed.
Mm.
They come to the tables briefly to take a quick picture if you'd like, but you got to be ready. And again, maybe it wasn't that they're going to sit and stay with you because they're trying to see everyone.
Sure.
But again, my kids were delighted to see them and briefly interact with them and then continue with their meal.
Nice.
Yeah. As far as the buffets, we loved the Pixar market. There were always so many options. There were a lot of Asian options. And there was always American type food available. There was pizza. Pizza was probably the highest in demand because kids. And I think because some of them don't eat, maybe they want to eat that, instead.
Yeah.
And I've heard a lot of people complain about how long it took to get a pizza. But honestly, they're sitting there cooking them. You can customize it as you'd like. I didn't find the wait to be, out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
And there was always options for, if you didn't want to wait, you could walk 10 steps to Pixar Market.
Yeah.
Where they really shined were the quick eat places.
Yeah.
Like the Ohana Grill, yummy burgers. There's a shawarma spot. Those are all included. There were a few others that we didn't go to, but my son ate all of them, Then they had a spot where you could get boba, bewitching boba and brews. My husband enjoyed going there.
Yeah.
There's a well-known coffee and tea company. The coffee company is called Bacha, and the tea company is called TWG. And when you think just bougie, gold, any type of tea or coffee you want to sample there or to take home, they have it. And they're like connoisseurs of these different coffees. Like I I bought a couple of coffees, one from Thailand, one from Myanmar, that I brought for a friend of mine who loves coffee. And just the process of them opening these beautiful gold tins and wafting this coffee. Like if you're a coffee person, you want to go there.
Mm.
And then next to it is the tea spot. And my daughter and I had, we had like this tea mocktail and tea ice cream there. It was very nice. And it was just so cute. It was really, really nice experience.
Did anything feel unfinished, experimental, or very different?
I would say what felt different, and you can tell that I feel that Disney is listening to the feedbacks that's being given. The experiences with like characters, the meet and greets, all of that you could tell it was different from the cruising before. And I think it's that they're trying to figure out how to keep the crowds, controlled and keep things flowing. You could tell that they were listening. And then as the trip went on, there were more characters that came about.
Yeah.
We noticed Mickey out more frequently. And I think it's just, you could tell that they were listening and that they were trying.
Well, it's what you were talking about before, where originally this was going to start sailing in December and you were going to be sailing early April, and they would have had a few months to iron out some of these things. And that it is the really cool thing about being on brand new ships is like, you're on a brand new ship. On the other hand, you're on a brand new ship and they're still trying to figure out some stuff, especially, the Wish had a bunch of teething issues when it first launched as well. The Treasure, not so much. The Destiny was a lot smoother. Now, the pandemic impacted the Wish, but, there's just layouts and things that the crew is just trying to figure the stuff out at scale from an operational perspective. And it takes a little time for that stuff to shake out.
And it's all new. I mean, it's
so new.
It's
and like I said, a lot of their staff was new, but I felt like they were being mentored well. They told you, I'm new, but I want to make this the best I can for you, and that goes a long way for me.
Yep, 100%.
It was delightful to see a photographer that we used at Shutters on the Treasure, who had then transitioned over to the Adventure. He remembered us. Like it was so cool. He was like, your daughter was dressed as Tinkerbell and you guys were all pirates. Like, yes. And I showed him a picture and it was so cool. The photographers, oh my gosh, like so many people have asked me if I may talk about the photo package.
Yeah.
So many people have asked, especially with the character interactions being a little different, is the photo package worth it? And I feel like there are tons of opportunities throughout the ship to take photos. Like my daughters did Bippity Boppity Boutique for the first time. And right when you get off of Bippity Boppity Boutique, there's an area where there's a setup for princesses. Anyone can use it, but they have all the props for each princess, like a glass slipper, a magic lamp, an apple. And we went in there and we spent probably 30 or 45 minutes with the photographer. And he just had us like taking all these pictures.
That's awesome.
I have gorgeous pictures of my girls. There were pictures where there's Thor's hammer, where in the app, it'll tell you, we're doing pictures of Thor's hammer today. You go take pictures there. And they have random backdrops. I think even without having, dedicated character interactions, I had about 175 pictures of my family. And I feel like for the cost of the photo package, you can't pay for that anywhere, And they were beautifully done. So
that's awesome. That's great to hear.
Yeah, and we love taking advantage of the photo package when we go on cruises. It's better when it's a longer one. Like we are definitely taking advantage of it on the Destiny.
Absolutely. I think the thing that I was a little disappointed about, and it's not because of anything Disney, I absolutely love the rainforest room, the rainforest spa on the Treasure. And so I booked that. I feel like, for the number of days, it was priced, fairly. But after my daughter injured herself, and just with it being a full cruise of activities, I ended up not using it. And they were so kind as to refund it to me.
Oh, wonderful.
They understood. I was like, I just can't leave her. They're like, well, can we discount it for you? And you can just use it today. Or, they even offered, just because she had such a rough go at the beginning, they offered to give me a day. I said, well, if she lets me, then sure.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't mention, you guys, is we lucked up. We didn't get it on the Treasure. We got to do Palo brunch. It's amazing.
Wow. Okay.
It was beautiful. The breakfast was so good. And we could barely eat the rest of the day. So
And this was on the adventure. You were able to do.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
yes, it was actually pretty available even to new cruisers. I think because the cruise director, he told us, I think it was like maybe 70 or even maybe more than 70% new cruisers,
Sure.
new Disney cruisers or
Oh.
even new cruisers, period.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
So Hollow Brunch it's definitely not to be missed if you can book it.
Yeah.
It's one of our favorites.
Yes.
Do you know how full your cruise was?
It was completely full.
Okay.
There was one room that was open, like I guess for like emergencies.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was told that there was an emergency, like someone had to move from that room to another because there was a leak that
Mm.
had to be taken care of.
Got it.
But they were safe and had no issues.
Sure. Well, given everything that you've experienced on the adventure, and it is that new ship. What was on your comment card? Your survey at the end. Was there any constructed feedback that you observed and or that you shared or would want to share to Disney of some future or additional opportunities for improvement from your perspective?
Honestly, I remember commenting that I see that your crew is doing your very best and it's very much appreciated.
Mm.
I just said that, if there were a different way to roll out interactions or maybe to hold some back and maybe do it like they did the Iron Cycle, maybe send some out throughout the day,
Yeah.
that would be helpful. But in retrospect, like I said, there were additional opportunities and they did a lot of parties and things like that where you could see these characters.
Yeah.
So I think that would satisfy a lot of people's frustrations.
Yeah.
All right. So parks versus parks. If you had to rank Hong Kong versus Shanghai for your family, how would that shake out and why?
Oh wow, that's hard. Because I loved Hong Kong. You could definitely get it done in about a day and a half.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it feels so much like home for us.
Mm.
But I would have to say that Shanghai was more exhilarating for it because it was so different.
Yeah.
Tron and Zootopia World are worth their weight in gold.
How did the cruise kind of complement the parks portion of your trip? You went in originally saying, "Hey, let's go do a cruise," and maybe we'll do parks too. Was that the right decision?
Absolutely. I could see maybe feeling maybe a little disappointed if that were the highlight, the only highlight of our trip.
Yeah.
It just felt like one thing just led to something even better and something to be even better. And so when I just sit and think about it as a whole, I'm like, I can only say it was amazing. Like when people ask me how my trip, I'm like, it was just amazing. Like, and if I dissected, yes, I could, pinpoint a few things that I would like to have been different.
Yeah.
But I think if you can even if you can't do both parts, if you can choose one that is of interest to you and add that to the cruise, whether that be before or after, I think it's just going to make it just so much better.
Mm-hmm. Kind of pivoting off of that. So you did park cruise. If you could do the whole thing over, would you do it the same way or would you switch to do the cruise in the middle or the cruise at the beginning or where it is now?
I would keep it where it is now.
Okay.
After our cruise, we did just a few things around Singapore. We went to Gardens by the Bay, which is a very popular place to go.
Mm-hmm.
They have light and water shows. There's beautiful. And then we did the Singapore Zoo, which is like the second best behind San Diego in the world. It's amazing. And then we did Universal Singapore. And it was really fun. It could definitely be done in a day. But honestly, after cruising and eating and relaxing, I didn't really want to be at a park, especially because it was so hot there.
Yeah.
But it was fun. And we spent, a good bit of our day there. But I would say, and when I did the Treasure, we did a couple of park days, the cruise, and then we did a few more park days. That was fun, but we were exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This time I felt really well rested.
Oh, good.
And I would have been content to, if I had seen what I'd wanted to see in Singapore, I would have been content to just fly home after that.
Yeah.
I definitely think ending on the cruise is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Which part of the trip, you've got, Hong Kong, you've got Shanghai, you've got the adventure in Singapore, and you did all the logistics for those. Which part of the trip felt like the most reward for the effort that you put into it?
Oh my gosh. I was hoping you would ask me this. I was when we got into Shanghai, it was our first park day, and honestly, we were just tired. It was a long flight.
Yeah.
Our kids were being feral. They're, all over the place. My husband and I had been snappy with each other because we're tired. And,
Yeah.
we get to the park. We're there. I'm walking into the park, stitching on the Nick Wilde top to my daughter's shirt and trying to make her put these ears on so I can take this perfect picture.
Right.
And I'm just so frustrated because as soon as we get there, she snatches the thing off. She would wear the ears. But the parade starts.
Yeah.
Mm.
And to see their excitement, to see all the, the visitors' excitement. And I just remember videoing myself watching, the parade and engaging my kids, like, trying to make that, that memorable video.
Yeah.
And the tears just start to fall. Like I could not stop crying. And I started to just turn it off. And I'm like, no, this is what it looks like
Yeah.
when you do something and you care about it and it really happens.
Yeah.
And I just felt so much magic for my kids, but for myself. And I think that, as a Disney adult, I think that that's what we're chasing, that magic for ourselves, because we're the generation that wants to pour into everyone. But to feel that for myself was really, really rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
It's funny that is the feeling that I am always chasing, was
Exactly
being in the parade in Disney World when I was in high school and coming around the corner and, playing in the marching band, and I was in the drum line, and then the castle's right there in front of you.
Yes.
Like that feeling is what I'm always chasing.
Yeah.
I love, it's the parade. It's just the parade.
It's the parade. And then the fireworks shows right now, Shanghai it's celebrating its 10th year, and Hong Kong is still celebrating its 20th year.
Yep.
So their fireworks displays are gorgeous, and I just found myself singing to my kids and my husband, like taking a video of us like singing. I'm like, this is what I want. I don't want anything else other than this, and to play these for the rest of my life. So
I love it. Well, we've had so much to cover with you.
Yes.
We're foregoing Alicia's typical Disney torture test, but she'll get you next time, and there will absolutely be a next time.
Oh, I'd love to.
That said, we do want to do a bit of a wrap up, kind of a lightning round with you. So with that, Alicia, I'll hand it over to you.
What was your favorite ride of the whole trip?
Small World.
Nice.
Best meal?
Best meal, Palo Brunch.
Nice. Most magical, unexpected moment?
Getting off the elevator on the last night of our cruise and being greeted by Mickey walking down the aisle with my daughter.
That's amazing.
After Iron Cycle at that.
One word to describe Hong Kong Disneyland?
Nostalgic.
One word to describe Shanghai Disneyland?
Epic.
And one word to describe the Disney Adventure Cruise?
An adventure. Honestly,
they named it
everything about it. Yeah.
Who is this kind of trip best suited for, and who might struggle with it?
I think that this is best for families. I found that some people, I think the parks could definitely be for adults, but just the breadth of our adventure for kids. And I think because our ages range from 2 to almost 13, any age, I encourage people not to be afraid of that flight to go.
Yeah.
But the something I noticed that people who were on the adventure would comment is that this is really for kids. And like if they were on it and it was just the two of them, they were just all adults, I would say this is more so for families. There was a great club for each age group also.
Nice.
What's a splurge that was absolutely worth it? Oh man, the merchandise. I bought so much stuff. You guys will love this. They had plenty of Eevees. I bought one for every kid. And they didn't really know who Evie was over there.
Well, that's where all the stock went.
I think so. And I don't know if they're receiving additional stock, but I was like, oh my gosh, this they didn't even know her name. So
oh my
let
goodness.
me tell you.
I think they sell out on the Wish Class ships all the time.
All the time. And so, in addition to splurging on that, we splurged a lot on Duffy merchandise. Like
Yeah.
each girl got a stuffy and a purse and all the things. Yeah.
How did this trip change your view of Disney as a global brand?
You know, I feel that Disney is trying to meet people where they are. I know that that Japan will be granted a ship at some point. I think that they are trying to reach more people and share that magic and their brand.
Mhm.
And I think that even though they have to make modifications, I think that they do their very best to stay true to who they are as a company, making that magic, listening to feedback, and making the changes that their guests want.
Mhm. How did this change how you think about future family travel?
This opened my eyes that we can go anywhere. We can go on a 15-hour flight. We can do different layers of travel. Like this is probably the second or third trip that I've not done like multi-country, but stop in a city here and do something and then carry on. So I feel like as long as you give yourself a buffer, have travel insurance, and expect that there's going to be, a little bit of chaos along the way, that it's okay to give yourself the most bang for your buck and make the trip what you want it to be.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to jump in. Last question of the lightning round. Knowing what you know now and what you experienced, would you do it again?
Absolutely. We already have plans to go back someday.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, is there anything that we didn't ask that you think families considering an international Disney trip should know?
I don't think so. I think just that when you're traveling internationally, something that I've learned is to just accept that it's international. It's a different country with different norms, and just having an open mind and asking for help, because a lot of people just saw us, looking around and they're like, let me help you do this. Let me, I think just asking for help. Most people are kind and I think are willing to help you out. They know you're not from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where can people follow along if they want to see photos or ask you any questions?
Oh, okay. That would be cool. I would love that. We are on Instagram. It's Raising Baby Merritts, MERRITTS. I share pictures on there and all my, mama content. And I would love to share if anyone has any questions. We're also on Facebook. Maybe someday I'll, do TikTok or something like that. But like I said, I work 2 jobs. So I don't know. But I would love to inspire others to take the trip and to answer any questions that they may have along the way.
Awesome.
I love it. Well, we will definitely have you on again, and we'll have more questions for you that you can answer then.
All right. Thank you so much. It's been such a fun opportunity.
Thank you so much for being willing to talk to both of us as we independently reached out to you without talking to each other.
It's been a delight talking to you, and thank you for letting us monopolize so much of your time.
Yes.
It's been great. I've been hiding in my room, and for the most part, no one's bothered me, so it's been great. Thanks.
Well, that was an absolutely stellar conversation.
That was amazing.
I loved hearing everything about her trip.
Yes. Denisha, thank you so much for coming on and sharing part of your family's journey to the other side of the world with us and our listeners. That was absolutely fantastic, and can't wait to see you in person in June and round of drinks for you and your husband on us for sure.
Well, on to all the outro stuff that we have to cover.
Indeed.
So, please remember, we are not affiliated with Disney or their subsidiaries. These are our personal opinions and suggestions based on our own experiences, but we are affiliated with fun, snacks, and international travel.
Absolutely. We recommend working with a travel advisor or contacting Disney directly to plan your perfect vacation. And if you love this episode, please give us a rating and review, 5 stars, ring that bell, subscribe, all that good stuff. It really helps other Disney fans find us.
And if you have any questions or suggestions, or would like to talk to us on our show to share your own experiences Disney related, please send an email to podcast@ourmousecapades.com.
You can follow us at Our Mousecapades on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, and we're Our Mousecapades Pod on YouTube. And of course, please share us with your friends, family, and that one coworker who still thinks FastPass is a thing.
Thank you for listening. We'll be in your ears next week.
Thank you for flying Star Tours. Bye-bye.